Let's take things now to Davos, Switzerland. That's where political and business leaders from around the globe are gathered this week for the annual World Economic Forum. Now, AI seems to be at the top of the agenda for many people attending the get-together as the disruptions to the global economy caused by the ongoing attacks in the Red Sea continue to be in the headlines. Just today, a Greek-owned cargo ship was hit by a missile fired by Houthi rebels, while the U.S. carried out a third strike on Houthi targets inside of Yemen. But AI overall, artificial intelligence, seems to, again, be dominating this event. And joining us now live from Davos is Brandon Daniels. Brandon, the CEO at Exiger, which is a leading AI company focused on the global supply chain. It's good to see you, sir. I hope you're enjoying your time there with all the elites of the world, as they say. And is it true that AI is dominating some, at least, of these discussions? And if so, are we ready? Are companies and governments ready for what's to come?
Hey, Connell, good to see you from chilly Davos, Switzerland. Yeah, so I am attending the Davos meetings, and there are several things on the agenda as the world is in turmoil. One of the major things that people have been talking about is the transformational nature of artificial intelligence. As you know, Connell, that's what Exiger does for a living. We develop AI to help in the navigation and the avoidance of disruption in supply chains. But what people are trying to determine is, how is AI going to transform industry? And what we're hearing and what we're seeing is that it's a bridge. It's a skills bridge. It's a transformation in terms of how people look at data and people look at information. You're seeing it essentially simplify data. So, more advanced health diagnostics are possible with artificial intelligence using natural language. People can assess billions of financial records, and it would have taken, armies of people to do it before with simple, ChatGPT or Gen AI capabilities.
It's an interesting conversation, to have, whether it's there in Davos or anywhere else, or where we are in this transformation. The other thing, before this shot breaks up again, that I want to get to you with, you talk about global supply chains, and we were talking about the breaking news out of the Red Sea today, and we've talked to you about this in the past, and, what can be done there. There was a headline from Bloomberg, which was really interesting, kind of along the same lines, but in a different area, saying that the world faces a $270 billion traffic jam in Panama. Talking about the Panama Canal. So take the conversation there for, if we can keep you going here for a moment before we wrap things up. That's kind of interesting.
Absolutely. Well, there are two things on the agenda. The first is artificial intelligence, and the second is global geopolitical risk. And geopolitical risk is hitting us everywhere. It's hitting us in the situation in the Red Sea. It's hitting us in the diversification of the United States and their supply chains. But at the same time, that geopolitical risk has put strain on other shipping ports. The rerouting of ships around Africa has disrupted 20% of the traffic. And now this enormous climate issue in Panama has essentially disrupted some of the most critical supply chains flowing to the United States and flowing from China. And so the top shipping companies, the top energy companies, the top transport companies and I met today. We met all of the CEOs of the top shipping companies. And really, the nature of climate disruption, what's going on in the Panama Canal, where Maersk is now using the land bridge to cross and traverse the Panama Canal. Right. That's disrupting billions of dollars in cargo. And what we're essentially seeing is, Connell, the global economy is in a period of transformation, both from a reshoring and a diversification of our supply chains. And a lot of that has to do with geopolitical risks and climate changes, right. And things that are happening in the Panama Canal. And then there's also a change to the global economy as AI disrupts the nature of our workforce.
It's going to be an interesting few decades, as they say, or maybe a few weeks, the way things move these days. Thank you, Brandon. Enjoy your time over in Davos. Brandon Daniels from the firm Exiger at the World Economic Forum.